Hello everyone, my name is Andres Hutton and in today's podcast I will be discussing the future of schooling. Now before I dive into what the future of schooling holds for us, I think it's important to address where our current education system comes from and how it's flawed in a lot of ways. It all pretty much started with the rise of the Industrial Revolution, and I think Harvey has also mentioned this in his podcast. With the rise of the Industrial Revolution, people had the opportunity to mass produce anything and everything that they could get their hands on, from clothes to cars to furniture, name it, and we have tried to mass produce it. We then tried to apply that same model of mass production into our schooling system by piling students into classrooms and delivering boring lecture-based lessons with minimal interaction between the teachers and students. Now, by doing this, we may have gained efficiency in teaching, but we have lost effectiveness due to the lack of one-on-one teaching, which promotes the relationship between teachers and students and the relationship students have with their peers. George Greenberg states that effective learning is a product of effective relationships. If teaching, he says that if teaching is going to move forward with online education, he thinks that it would be important to provide video-rich teaching that emulates the relationship a teacher has with a student. Now, someone who has taken this theory of George Greenberg and put it into practice is Salman Khan from the Khan Academy. He believes that education needs to have social value. He has made thousands of videos before the global pandemic that allowed students to view educational and instructional videos at their own pace and review the material whenever they feel the need to do so. By doing this, he has introduced us to the concept of the flipped classroom, where the initial homework becomes classwork, freeing up time for teachers to spend more time with students to review work and address issues that students might have with the work at hand. By doing this, Khan is humanizing the classroom, but also using technology to educate. It's unfortunate that it took a global pandemic to make us realize the importance of online education and the possibilities it presents for the future of education. I do hope that we manage to keep improving and implementing systems that could pretty much revolutionize the way we teach instead of fixing outdated education systems that is trying to evolve from a broken model. A factor that needs to be taken into consideration, though, is that technology can be intimidating for most people, as adults tend to avoid the growing pains of learning the skills that is needed to operate and utilize modern teaching technologies. Children, on the other hand, are curious and excited by change and embraces the excitement and endless possibility that new technology offers us in a rapidly changing and growing era of technology. I think it's important to embrace a growth mindset so that teachers and parents can personalize the needs that students have and cater them to the technological needs and interests of the students. Like Sir Arthur C. Clarke said, when you have interest, you have education. I have to admit that since joining this course, my perspective on teaching and how I apply technology and differentiation in my classroom is a constantly changing and evolving concept, and it's opening my eyes to how impactful my teaching can be by embracing new skills and technology into my own classroom. One issue that comes to mind when combining education and technology is global accessibility. Now, as a cohort, we all come from different countries and cultural backgrounds, which means that we all have very different experiences on how people are educated. And the amount of exposure that people have to technology, I'm pretty sure that we all can agree that private schools, which are more expensive, have a lot more funding and support for tech-driven education systems and curriculums compared to that of a public and government-funded school. So I asked myself the question, how do we bridge the gap? I guess it starts as simple as embedding one computer in the middle of a slum in New Delhi, just like Sugata Mitra. Funding will always be an issue, but doing our part to give students as much exposure within our own means by sharing a laptop or giving them access to an online account or website that offers teaching tools and materials, we can make that gap smaller even by a tiny fraction. I would like to conclude my podcast by saying that we already have so much new technology at our disposal that can help us differentiate the way we teach our students. It is therefore important to shift our mindset and be open to the endless possibilities and improvements that technology can offer us by being open to change and be proactive by implementing technology at our disposal whenever we have the opportunity to do so. By combining technology and the talents of teachers, we have the power to revolutionize the education system. Thank you for listening, everyone.